Hey everybody, this is Krista with Magnolia Ridge Farm and Gardens, and I just wanted to come at you today with just a little quick update about what's been going on and with 3 tips for new gardeners that I think everyone should know. I am so sorry I have not posted in a while. We have had some trials and tribulations here, mostly dealing with the house and just things going wrong. I told you about the septic issue that we had a while back, and the past 2 weeks we've really been trying to figure out our well issue. We've replaced pressure switches and we replaced the tank in the basement. We had just replaced the actual pump a couple years ago, and it's been horrible, but I think we finally just finished getting it fixed. The plumber just left. I actually have pressure for the first time in 2 years. So, and I'm talking funny because I bit my jaw. So I'm trying to keep my teeth shut because I keep rebiting it because it's swollen. So it's just been a lot. And I've been out in the garden and I have been recording some things as far as the garden and the greenhouse goes, but I'm not quite ready to edit those because I wanted a little bit more, like with the greenhouse, like I wanted everything to be done and then put it like all together. So I just haven't been quite ready. And then we have not had water in 3 or 4 days because it just, like, every time we would turn the water on, it would cut off again. And so with the boys, they went camping this past weekend, so it was just me and my daughter. So we actually lived the prairie life, and I was scooping 5-gallon buckets of water out of the pool to flush toilets, and we were just using jug water. So I wasn't cooking because I couldn't wash dishes or anything really. I could have if I had like heated water on the stove, but it just, for me and her, it wasn't really worth it. So we were just like eating sandwiches all weekend. So now I get to catch up on dishes and laundry and all that stuff. So it's just been a little bit of a madhouse here. So I haven't been able to film any cooking videos or anything. So I'm going to get back into that this week once I get caught up on the dishes and the laundry and all that stuff, fun stuff. But one of the things that I have been doing is I have been working with a few people online to help them get started in gardening. And one of the things that comes up quite a bit is, they, especially when they're first starting, is they want to grow all the things. They want to supplement their food right now, or they, want to make sure they're getting good organic food, especially with inflation. They want to cut the prices. And when you're starting out, it's really easy to get overwhelmed. And you go really big because you want to grow all the things. But that can actually defeat you when you're starting because, one, the price of starting out, and two, you feel like if you can't grow all the things or you can't grow enough in a small space, is it worth it? So I wanted to take a quick minute and just go over a few things. One, don't start too big before you know what you can handle. Pace yourself. If this is your first time gardening, or you've only gardened in containers, or you've only had like one raised bed, don't try to go for a 10,000 square foot garden right off the bat. That has taken me years to get to. So don't automatically just say, oh, I'm going to garden. Let's go dig up the entire backyard. Start where you are financially and physically comfortable, even mentally comfortable. So if you want to supplement and start growing some of your own foods, think about the foods that you buy the most of. So if you are a sucker for tomatoes and you like to make homemade spaghetti sauce and things like that, then start with enough space to grow tomatoes. So if all you want is slicer tomatoes because you love tomato sandwiches, then grow about 2 plants per person for your household that eats tomatoes. So if it's just you and your husband that eat them and your kids don't eat them, don't grow enough for the kids. Grow 4 plants of big slicer tomatoes. If you like sauce and you make a lot of sauce for the family for spaghetti and lasagna and stuff like that, then go ahead and grow enough sauce tomatoes for the whole family. So you could do 2 to 4 plants per person So, you know, for a family of 4, that could easily be 8 to 16 plants, depending on how much sauce you want. And you need a couple square feet per plant, like 4 square feet per plant. And so that'll tell you kind of how big you need to start at. So 1, don't start too big. Start with what you can financially, mentally, and physically afford to do to start off. So don't overwhelm yourself. 2, grow what you eat. Start with the things that you eat the most of. And if you want a variety because you like a lot of vegetables and you love salads, then grow a little bit of everything to start with, but don't try to grow a year's worth of food to start with. Grow what you will eat fresh, and then next year expand to start preserving. Also, figure out what's going to be the most economical for your space. Is it going to be worth waiting long term for plants that take 120 days? Like, are you going to try to grow pumpkins, which take a lot of space, and wait 120 days for, you know, a couple ripe pumpkins? Or in that same amount of space that you have, you could be growing squash, zucchini, lettuce, tomatoes, multiple things that you're going to eat. Come here. Sorry, my dog's running off. So think about that as your third thing. Which things are going to be best for you to try and to grow in your space? Corn takes, you know, a block, like the way it has to be fertilized and stuff. You need a little bit of space. So if you have a small plot, you're only going to get so many ears of corn. So it may be more economical to go to the farmer's market and buy that corn, because you could grow 200 tomatoes in the same amount of space that you could get 12 to 15 ears of corn. So think about what is going to be the best for you to grow and how much you're going to need to grow per person to determine. Whereas, you know, one broccoli plant is going to get you 1 main head of broccoli, which is going to be a meal for your family. And then you might get a few little secondary shoots and, you know, for a salad or something like that. But a tomato plant is going to provide you with multiple tomatoes for multiple meals. So if you are confined to a certain space, think about which items you can get the most bang for your buck. Zucchini, squash are going to be very prolific. Tomatoes are prolific. You're getting multiple items off of that one plant versus 1 crown of broccoli and some leaves for that one plant. So look into that. And that's all I'm going to start with, because I do think some new gardeners get overwhelmed. And so those are kind of the main 3 things that I want you to take away from this is: don't get overwhelmed, grow what you eat, and grow the items that are going to be the best use for your space so that you can get the most out of that space, since you're not going to start too big. So that's just a quick little thing I wanted to put out there for new gardeners, or, you know, newish gardeners, and let everybody know where I've been, and that I will be putting out more content over the next week or 2 as I get back into being able to record in my kitchen and put together some of the things that I have recorded out in the garden, because right now we are full-blown garden. I have been amending beds, getting things in the ground, finishing up the greenhouse. I'm starting tomatoes this week, which I'm a couple weeks behind on that. There's a lot of exciting things going on, and so I'm excited to get back into doing content, and hopefully all the crazy septic and well and household things that have just hit us this past few weeks are done, because I don't know how much more of that I can mentally take. So it's good to be back. Thanks for watching. I hope you have found these tips helpful, and I look forward to seeing you soon. See you on the next one.